We are back with another guest on this episode of Palm Harbor Local. Today, we are sitting down with Danielle Kostas, who is the owner of Avenue Hair Salon, Palm Harbor. Now, Danielle just moved here 2 years ago from New York. Her and her husband moved down, and in 2 short years, she has established her business here and started her own salon in those 2 years. So a lot can happen if you are on the fence about starting a business or whatever, or just kind of in that transition period. A lot can happen in 2 years if you're focused on what you're doing. So she started this business, Avenue Hair Salon, Palm Harbor, and she's Danielle is just a great person, and she's super passionate and absolutely loves what she does. So I know you're going to enjoy this conversation with Danielle. So let's jump right into it and meet Danielle. Welcome to another episode of Palm Harbor Local. I'm your host, Florida native and real estate ninja, Donnie Hathaway. I started this podcast because I'm extremely passionate about connecting you with the people and the local businesses that make Palm Harbor so special. Palm Harbor, Florida is a great place to live, work, and play. It has everything you could dream of, from the food, the outdoors, the lifestyle, to the people in the community. I wanted to create a podcast that connected the community and inspired everyone to live better. To join this community and stay up to date on all things Palm Harbor, visit my website. It's palmharborlocal.com and sign up there to join the locals. And remember, together, we keep Palm Harbor local. So welcome, Danielle. I'm excited to record this podcast with you and learn more about your business. So thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm excited.
Yeah. So your business is Avenue Hair Salon in Palm Harbor, and why don't we kind of start there and just explain a little bit about your business there.
Oh gosh, that may be a long question, but upon, after only being a Florida native for 2 years, and here I am having a hair salon. I guess a little bit about it. I'm trying to create just an amazing place for women and men to work in. I want to bring like the girl gang back into hair salons again. Florida's a bit of a different vibe. I'm from New York, and there were no renters, booth renters, and so that was
Mm,
sort of a change kind of coming into Florida, and starting that. But I feel like with still having each individual stylist here be really their own boss, their own identity, but it's just
yeah.
creating, kind of a unit of one, I guess.
Yeah, I like that. So
Yeah.
so why don't we go back to the beginning and like when you first got into hair and or working in the salon, was like what was that like, or take us back to the beginning of when this all started?
So to the beginning, I was still in high school, believe it or not.
Oh
I
wow.
just was in my junior year of cosmetology school, and which was in our high school actually. And I
Okay.
got a job as an assistant at 17, and I worked my way up from there. I was an assistant for 3 years. Um, I I think starting here where I am now kind of brought me from to where I started from the beginning, because the salon I worked in was such a positive place to be in, and the owner and the people, we were really such a family, and I was there for 19 years. So
And that
that
was
was
the
really
first
hard to leave.
salon. That was the first salon
Yes.
you worked in.
First salon I worked in one little quickie one, and it was awful. It was such an awful experience,
Yeah.
because I was sort of, I did a little weekend there, and during the week at the one I was at, and man, I realized how quickly salons were very different.
Yep.
So, and how different they were run, and how even how assistants were treated. I was washing
Hmm.
hair, and I was sort of treated like I was just the hair washer.
Hmm.
So I kind of quickly knew exactly what not to do, basically.
Yeah. So is hair something you've always wanted to do? Like when did that start, or where did that come from?
So yeah, I guess hair was always something I wanted to do, and I always loved it. And I didn't just do hair. I mean, I hate to say that, just do hair, right? But I
Yeah.
think I realized at a point when I was in high school, when I graduated, I was like, okay, I'm in a career. I'm working my way up here, but this couldn't just be it, I guess, for me. I felt like the need that I needed also something else. So I also then continued my education after high school, and I have a bachelor's in fine arts, focusing in interior design. and I went to
Oh,
school in
cool.
Manhattan. So, and all while still working in a hair salon. At that point, when I was going to school in Manhattan, I was already behind the chair, maybe, 2021, a newer, behind the chair stylist. And then I also worked for an interior design for quite a few years while I was doing hair.
Okay.
So I sort of always did it. They're both creative, right? So they really kind of go hand in hand. You're
Yeah.
always working with colors and working with people and customers and sort of creating whether beautiful spaces that you're creating for them or beautiful hair on their head. And then
Yeah.
I would say a little after I got married is when I stopped interior design and then just focused on doing just hair, just a stylist, behind the chair. So
So I always like asking this question for people who have been in like one industry for a long period of time, and especially hair,
yeah,
right? Because I think that like design and everything too, like that's constantly changing. There's new trends
sure.
and stuff that come in. So what's something that stands out that's kind of changed over the last 20 plus years in hair or in that
Something that
business?
stands out. Oh my gosh, that is hard. A lot. I think
So
perms
much.
stayed the same.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that quietly because there's maybe people around. Perms have stayed the same. Everything has changed in the hair industry. Everything. Nothing is just a one simple way. There's multiple ways to kind of achieve the same thing. There's multiple ways of, adding highlights into the hair. It's not
Hmm.
just a traditional highlight. Um, the keeping the integrity of the hair, we can keep the hair so much healthier than say 10 years ago while
Yeah.
doing all these fun lightening services. So I guess that's hard. I think everything has changed in the hair industry. And
Yeah.
education is so easier to get, and everyone's so open to helping each other and educate and putting things on social media.
For sure.
But I mean, yeah, I think everything in the hair game changed. What didn't change is your one-on-one connection with the clients. I think
Yeah. Like
that's
those
always a huge thing.
relationships.
Those
Yeah.
relationships, yeah. I think you have to be, you have to be that kind of person who sort of enjoys that connection with different people because you have multiple people in your chair every day. So I think that has always stayed the same. You have to know how to build a connection with your client because really, in the end of the day, we care about them and they care about us. And besides just loving what we do to their hair, they enjoy us. They enjoy our time as if just like we enjoy
Sure.
their time.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So and yeah, I mean, so relationships is like a big part of that business, right? And like the creativity side and like what you just said too, it sounds like the products have changed, the products have gotten better.
Oh
Um
my gosh,
and
yeah.
then like so the style, like the skills too, like the skills change and like, like you mentioned education, so the stylists get better with different skill sets and practice and
Yeah, I mean, I
techniques.
guess always, maybe not but better, but there's always a new technique coming out.
Yeah.
There's always a new name for something, you
Yeah.
know? So, and that's what kind of keeps it fun is that we're always trying new techniques. There's someone's always coming up with some crazy new way to do something. And, it's like, oh my gosh, you go into work. Did you see, look at this video posted yesterday or this reel posted yesterday. Let's
Yeah.
try it out. Like, yeah. So that's kind of
Yeah.
they're always like, you're always doing something fun. It's always creative.
Yeah. I
You're
like
always
that.
learning something new. Yeah.
Yeah. So why become a business owner? Like what brought you into that role after being a stylist for so long?
How I become a business owner. My husband's really put it into my head. So I mean, I definitely owe him in that sense.
Yeah.
Um, I was for sure more nervous than he was. So luckily he had definitely more confident in me to sort of get it going. Where the getting going part was like, oh my gosh, like are we really gonna do this?
Yeah.
And but I knew once it was done, I got it, like as soon as like it opened and ready to sort of, meet with stylists and all of that, that part I was like, all right, I got this. Like this is what I do. This I'm good at.
For
I
sure.
could create a safe, fun place to work in. That's also, nice to be in because I make things pretty.
Right. You
So
got that
and
design
it was just
background.
time. It was just time. Yeah. It was time. I was very lucky. I built up a clientele pretty quickly when I moved here.
Yeah.
So in that sense, yeah, I was very lucky in that way. I built
S-
up pretty fast.
Yeah. So like like going back to like the relationship side of the business, like that just kind of translated like being, good or comfortable with that piece of it, like that just translates into now you're just doing that, for your clients as well, but also for the other stylists that are working, at your salon too. Like having
Exactly.
those relationships is important as well, right?
Those relationships are super important. I think they are the most important. And everyone I
Yeah.
would kind of meet with who maybe is like interested in renting a chair from me, I always say I want to have a really nice environment here. And thank goodness the girls I have here right now, we're fab, we are a nice, fabulous group. I want to be a safe place. There is
Yeah.
no just negative drama.
Yeah.
No one's better than the other person. We're all just here to work and make money and do our thing and enjoy coming to work.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I love coming to work. So I hope everyone who also is here loves coming to the salon here. So that first and foremost, you have to enjoy the space that you're working in to enjoy your work.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, yeah,
I like it. So,
yeah.
so going back to like starting this business, like if there's, um, I'm thinking of like if somebody is, a stylist themselves and they're thinking about opening up their own business, like walk me through like your process, just kind of high level overview of kind of like the steps or things that you had to do to start this business.
Oh gosh, I tell them to run. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Don't listen to that.
Yeah.
Um, the steps. I mean, okay, so first you find what town, right? Of course. So I was already renting a chair in another hair salon in the same town. So of course you have to think of, okay, demographics, right? I don't want to go too far from where I am now.
Yeah.
Clients don't really want to go more than a 10-minute change, I guess. So I did
Sure.
keep that in my mind. So as far as the space, that's kind of why I chose Palm Harbor. That's why I chose a town. I live in Palm Harbor. I already worked in Palm Harbor. I started getting my name out in the local Palm Harbor Facebook groups.
Hmm.
So I guess find this, really you find this space, this I mean, oh my gosh, I mean, it was just so much. You find the space, you get everything you need for a hair salon, your stations, your chairs, your mirrors,
Yeah.
storage for the girls, to keep their, I say girls, but girls and guys. I
Yeah.
keep saying females, but it could be both. A storage for them. I opened up in a smaller salon a few minutes away. I honestly, I very quickly outgrew it, which then brought me to the place that I'm in right now. And
Oh,
I've only
wow.
actually
Okay.
been here for 6 weeks, believe it or
Oh,
not.
okay.
So my first salon, it was a year lease I signed because again, first year business owner, you don't know where it's going to go. And
Yeah.
then luckily by the end of my lease, this space up the road became larger, so my current space. So I'm double the size. And as soon as word got out that I was opening something bigger, um, a few more people contacted me who I already met with, who I just didn't really have the space for anymore. So, and I think the hardest thing is finding people to come work in your salon.
Oh, yeah.
Once you get past that hump, no one knows who you are and no one knows your salon. So
Yeah.
why do they want to come to you?
Right.
Right. So once the first one came and the second one came and then okay, it started sort of, word just kind of started spreading. Hey, there's a salon and she's sort of doing things a little differently and not trying to charge an insane amount where, no
Yeah.
one can even, whatever, afford that way. And I'm also opening to mentoring stylists. I have a new style back behind the chair stylist whom I'm mentoring,
Cool.
which makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would say the biggest hurdle is if you have your right worth ethic, I guess, and
Yeah.
what you want your salon to be and what you want to offer other people, then I think you'll be golden.
Yeah.
Just take
So,
the
so going back to, so like a couple things that stood out there. One is like, like what you just said about like having the vision, right? Did you ever have like this written down or like, here's like walkthrough of like, here's exactly what I want my salon to look like when I do open it? Or what was that like for you? What's up, Palm Harbor? It's your host, Donnie Hathaway. If you are looking to stay up to date with all things Palm Harbor, then visit my website. It's palmharborlocal.com. Super simple. You can sign up there, join the locals, where I'll be sharing more information on local events, local history, and what's happening in Palm Harbor. I really want to create and add more value to you as a listener for spending your valuable time tuning into my podcast. So join me there, keep listening, and remember, together, we keep Palm Harbor local.
No, my husband and I just started Googling images,
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
at, inspiration photos. And then, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what can we make a station? He's like, what do you need? And I'm telling him, well, we need drawers, we need space, we need this, we need
Yeah.
that. So I think the design happened as soon as we started finding the larger pieces. All right, this station's fabulous, and this mirror is fantastic. Let's grab this. Okay, this is a good vibe. And I
Yeah.
guess it's kind of like a coastal chic, I guess, is a
Okay.
good, vibe for it. It's
Yeah.
light, it's airy, it's clean. So it's not a typical salon look, I guess.
Okay.
So, but I have to say that just sort of happens naturally. It
Yeah.
really
And
just
maybe
depends on the
that's like
pieces.
back to your like design background, right? Like this is just
Exactly.
what you enjoy
I
and
was
are
able to
gonna.
do a floor plan. I was able to
Yeah.
figure out what space I need to wear and the sizing. And after that was just finding the actual pieces to fit that floor plan.
Cool. So
Yeah.
and then going back to like your first lease, right? So only signing a 1 year lease, was that something that you, because I think like if I'm gonna, as a new business and I'm thinking like here, I'm gonna plant my roots here. Like if I'm gonna, build out a space, like I want to be there for at least a few years
I
to
know.
kind of, plant my roots there, I guess. Like was that in the back of your mind that like maybe I need to make a move within a year or something, so I'll only sign a year
Um,
lease, or how did that work?
it was in my mind of, and you know what, me and my husband, first year in business, who I didn't know which way it would have went. What if I found no one, right? What
Yeah,
if
right,
nobody
right.
wanted to come work in my salon?
Yeah.
So at least like, okay, it was only a year, we gave it a try, and now let's walk away.
Okay.
So we made that very clear too with where we're releasing that we're doing a year because we just don't know.
Yeah.
So in my new build, I'm in my new space, I'm a longer lease because now I got this in the bag.
Yeah.
I came with people, and then I had more people come on before I even opened here. But yeah, no, I was happy I did the year, and I'm a believer of everything happens for a reason. So
Yeah.
this space was like waiting for me. It wasn't ready when I signed my other lease, but it was waiting for me after.
Perfect. And I think it's a great idea too, because it's, you, like you said, you just kind of test it out for a year and
Yeah,
figure it out what's going to work, or like maybe you need to make some changes within that year, and then you can move on,
exactly.
so yeah, I think it's a great idea for, anybody else that's thinking about opening up a salon, or just anybody that's going to be renting a space for the first time as a new business in general. Like if you can sign a year
Yeah,
lease, it seems
because you
like
just
a
don't
great thing.
know,
Yeah.
right? You just don't know.
Yeah.
So you always wish, of course, the best for anything that you're going to start and open, but unfortunately, it doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah.
So you sort of just want to, just go in a little slow, tiptoe before you sort of really step on in.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So, so going back, so coming from New York, like what brought you to Florida?
It was during COVID. We were shut down in New York.
Oh yeah.
And it just made my husband and I just kind of realize all the things that we kind of wanted differently in life. And it was a great time to, get ready to sell our house because we were home anyway. And that's just what we did. So we just, sold everything. We sold everything. And 7 weeks,
Crazy.
we listed our house. And 7 weeks later, New York was about opened up maybe for 8 weeks. I was back to work for about 7 or 8 weeks there. And we were on the road to Florida, and we don't regret it at all. We love it here. We have family here. So we've been coming to here in this area for a while. We
Okay.
kind of knew this would sort of be where we would go. And we love it. We love it. Best
Yeah.
decision we ever made.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy about Florida so much that that maybe you didn't have in New York, or um
Oh, everything. How much time do we have? What do I love about Florida?
yeah.
I love that everybody is definitely more supportive here.
Mm,
I'm going to say that. I'm going to start with that. I'm going to start with people. The
yeah.
neighbors are neighborly. People here to want to support and sort of help. I don't know, be there for you. People are friendlier. I think when you live in Florida, you're just happier.
Yeah.
You're outdoors. There's always festivals. There's always music. The sun is always shining.
Yeah.
Um, I think I mean everything. Not this summer. Summer's brutal here,
Summer's
but that's
hot,
okay.
right?
Summer is hot. I'll take everything. If there's
But
one
we have
complaint I
AC,
have,
right?
it's
It's like
but
the
we have AC, and it's not
yeah,
snow, right? It's not snow.
I
I'll take
know.
that over snow.
Yeah. You don't have to go outside and shovel or do any work to go outside.
Exactly.
You just have to,
Yes.
dress up accordingly.
Dress accordingly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yes, everything. We love everything about Florida.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. And so you brought up something just now and then previously too, just about like the just helping people or supporting people and supporting your stylists and stuff and just kind of like helping each other grow.
Yeah.
What where does that come from and like why is that something that's important to you?
Well, I wouldn't be where I am if no one helped me learn.
Yeah,
So you start many stylists who leave, school, you know nothing at that point. So you usually start in a salon as an assistant. So if no one helped me as an assistant to learn, I would never be where I am today.
yeah,
If they just kind of kept me in the corner as the assistant. So I had a fabulous boss in New York. I'm going to send her this. I'm not just saying this. And she really taught me the way. She taught me what
yeah,
it is to be a good salon leader. And what I know should be learned by others who want to know. I think that's our job as like, master stylists or whatever you want to call us. I think that's part of our duties to sort of help the younger ones learn, because how else are they going to learn?
right, right.
Right.
I think
So
I think that mindset and that approach of like not having the scarcity mindset where it's like, we're competing against for
yeah,
resources and business and everything like that. I think I've noticed that a lot more with business like small businesses and just different types of businesses, like more willingness to collaborate and kind of help support each other and just having
sure.
um that
Because it
mindset
only
of
helps you both
abundance.
succeed.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly,
There
exactly.
should never be competition, within. I mean, I understand certain things are,
Yeah,
healthy competition.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the bottom line is, and I always say, you have to stay humble in this business because none of us know everything. So there are
Right.
so many times that so many of us give like the eyes, like, you kind of like in the direction, like, oh my gosh, come meet me in the color room, like right now,
Yeah,
because you'll never know everything, especially in
right.
hairdressing worlds. There's always something to learn, and there's always another perspective to take on. We could both look at the same head and both come up with two different ideas, and
Yeah.
we be able to say like, wow, you know what, that's definitely better. What you just said is definitely better execution than what I just came up with, and that should be okay to do.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
bottom line is, there's enough people living in Florida to go around,
Yes.
that there should not be in competition,
And
with
more
each
are
other,
moving here as
and
we
more
speak.
moving here.
Yeah.
Exactly. And listen, if you're good, that's all you need. That speaks volumes. That's who gets you your clients and your referrals, not by trying to have the I'm better than you mentality.
Yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Yep, I love that. So, if there is a new stylist or somebody who's thinking about becoming a stylist, like what tips or what advice would you give them to kind of like get in the business and maybe kind of start generating and like building a clientele base?
So what tips? So my niece is actually just going to start. She just
Cool.
started going to cosmetology school, which I love. I think it's fabulous. And what do I say? I always say, think like a boss, stay humble.
Mm-hmm.
And my biggest thing is, don't let anybody knock down being a hairstylist, because that's always a big thing. Oh my gosh, you're just a hairstylist.
Oh yeah.
Hairstylists can be extremely successful and make a very good income.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
depends. It's just how you want to take it and how far you want to go with it. So I think those are my biggest things, is that being a hairstylist is so rewarding. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise, that it's a job beneath anyone else. And yeah, always think like a boss and just work hard, and
Yeah,
people connections. Yeah,
yeah,
connect with people, remember your clients, remember important things, build those relationships with them. Because like I said, they are enjoying the time in your chair and not just the outcome of their hair.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think yeah, I mean, you hit on some really great points there. The relationship side of it is like, I know for me in my business, like that's the one thing that kind of keeps me coming back or keeps me excited about, what I get to do in this podcast and
Sure.
real estate and everything. It's building those relationships with people who, value you and kind of what you're doing for them. And
Yes.
it's like lifelong relationships, just like
I
you
mean,
and your
literally.
business. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally.
So
That was one of the, so of course, such a hard thing leaving all my clients in New York. That
yeah,
was like heartbreaking. And there's so many of them. I mean, I'm in contact with so many of them through social media or text messaging. And because they're just, those are so many lifelong relationships,
yeah,
that you're
yeah,
building. So 100%. I always say it. I love interacting and with people. I love clients and I love working next to other stylists.
yeah,
That I
yeah.
love.
Super
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So being in Florida for a couple years, I always like to end the podcast with just asking the guests, like, what is one of their favorite local spots? So if you have like a local park or a restaurant that you love visiting, what is
Ooh,
like,
my
if you could pick
favorite.
one, like where are you going to right now?
Just like one. I mean, I could think of my favorite restaurant.
Yeah, what's your favorite restaurant?
Our favorite restaurant, both my husband and I, is Lucky Lobster.
Oh, Lucky Lobster. Okay.
We
Yeah.
love Lucky Lobster.
Yeah.
That's our jam. And we love going to Dunedin Causeway.
Yeah.
Always, everything about it. Even taking a drive. My husband's always taking the dog for a walk there. On a Sunday morning, grabbing Dunkin' Donuts and just sitting there and just looking at the water and the dolphins and the people fishing or
Yeah.
just sitting in the sun for a couple hours. Those are probably our two. And Lucky Lobster is in Dunedin. Does that matter?
Yeah.
This is
No,
a
that's
Palm
good.
Harbor thing,
Yeah.
but that's okay.
We got some favorite spots in Dunedin too. So
Right, yeah,
yeah.
they're both in Dunedin.
Yeah.
So okay, so right, was that then? So did I not technically answer the question?
No, you did. You did. Lucky Lobster and the Causeway. Yeah.
Lucky
The
Lobster
cause.
Closet, they are both in Dunedin,
Yeah.
but Palm Harbor, maybe love. Oh, Fireside. We love Fireside in Palm Harbor.
Ah,
We could say
yeah.
that.
Come
That
on.
is our,
I
yeah.
could eat pizza almost every day, especially Fireside. Like,
Especially Fireside. Their pizza is awesome. We're pretty much
yeah,
there every Sunday. Beer and pizza.
there you go.
That's
Yeah.
our jam. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the Causeway too. Like there's so many good things about the Causeway, the sunsets, sunrises, it's a beautiful spot. We're so lucky to have it, and just easy access to it, right? It's like right there.
Access, exactly. And the
Yeah.
sunsets. That's one of the most fabulous things in Florida, the sunsets for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Very
Yeah.
cool. Well, awesome, Danielle. I appreciate you taking the time to be on the
Yeah.
podcast and kind of share
I appreciate you
your
having
story.
me.
So how can people learn more about your business? Like, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you, or if there's any hairstylists that are looking to partner with you, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, you can contact me directly. So I'm Danielle Kostas. You can find me on social media, Danielle Kostas Hairstylist.
Cool.
My contact information, my cell phone number's on there. And I am the Avenue Hair Salon, which is in Palm Harbor on the corner of Tampa Road and Sierra One in the Winn-Dixie Shopping Plaza. So if any stylists are listening, I do have 2 open chairs still, waiting for the perfect, fit. And newer stylists or older stylists, and either which way. If we vibe well and you're a good fit, I would love to have you and meet you.
Yeah, awesome. And then we'll link all of your contact info and stuff in the descriptions below. But thank you again, and
Oh, fantastic.
reach
Thank
out to
you.
Danielle if you guys have any questions for her.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Thank you again for listening to another episode of Palm Harbor Local. I really hope you got a ton of value out of today's episode. Now, if you're looking to connect with the guest or just get more information on the episode, then you can check the description below. I'll have all the links in the episode as well as a link back to my website. It's palmharborlocal.com, where you can stay up to date on what's going on with the podcast and sign up there to join the locals. Let's get after it this week, and remember, together, we keep Palm Harbor local.